Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tub Takes. We are live for the first time, definitely for the first time, starting the stream, and we have two special guests as well as my co-host Alex. Alex, how are you doing?
Doing good. Feeling ready for this one. This is it's fun. Sorry that we skipped last week, but we're here today.
Yeah, and we got a couple top players here with us as well. We got Agati, who is coming off a top four finish at the Brazil Regionals. How are you doing?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. And yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's great to have you. First question I got to ask: how do you pronounce the name of the city that you are competing at?
Goiania.
Goiania.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Perfect.
And then last but not least, we got Michael Zhang, EternalSnowman. How you doing?
Decent. Work's been busy, but excited for Vancouver next week, so glad to be on.
Yeah, we got
Hell yeah.
we got the whole Pacific Northwest squad. Not the whole squad, but we got part of the squad here to tell us all about the Vancouver area. Um, so yeah, we're going to be previewing Vancouver and recapping Goiania this weekend this week on Tub Takes. But first and foremost, for some of the housekeeping announcements, we got first off, they just announced the sign up dates for Los Angeles regionals. This is the regional in May 25th, 26th weekend, and the signups are going to be live on March 27th, which I believe is not this Wednesday but next Wednesday. So we'll remind you again next week on Tub Takes. But yeah, be ready for that. I don't know how big this regional will be. I don't know if they announced anything about the size of this regional, but if it's a smaller cap, it's going to cap very quickly.
hmm Yeah, I always ask the question, who all is planning to go to this one. I know that ESMU, you're thinking about going to this one.
Yep.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
the plan.
I'm very likely for this one as well. Adi, what about you?
I would like to go here. I have a lot of friends in Los Angeles that I'd like to see, and it's also the last regional before NAIC, and so I always like to do that one because it's sort of a warm up for NAIC. If I go to this one, I can figure out what my team does well into, what does poorly into, before the biggest tournament of the year, right? So
hmm
I would like to go to this one.
Got you coming up?
I'm not going.
No, 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 I'm not going to
I
see
would
you.
love to go to the NEAC though.
Okay, NAIC. Are you in contention for a travel award for that at all, or no?
I doubt it. Yeah, I think there's no chance.
Oh, dang, dang. Okay. But still, you're thinking about coming up anyway?
I doubt it too as well. Like I
Uh,
would love to, but I'm starting a new job like next month, so I'm not sure even
mm.
if I'm going to Worlds. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Dang. Do you have any other tournaments that you're going to be competing at this year then? That you
I'm
know
going
of?
to São Paulo Regionals.
Santiago, you said?
Which regional?
São Paulo Regionals. My
Sao
home
Paulo.
city.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Um, but I think that I wouldn't be surprised if, okay, one of the reasons I think Los Angeles could be really big is that not only is it the regional before NAIC, and a lot of foreign players like to come in, spend a couple weeks in the US before NAIC. I think this is 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. But also, Los Angeles is a major hub. So if you are coming in from Mexico or Central America, I think a lot of players will come in from there because this is one of the more accessible regionals to fly to. And then maybe even, if you're from Japan or from China and you're looking to come to one, Western event, this is probably the cheapest one to fly to other than maybe one of the Australian ones, right? So if you told me that we see some Japanese players or some Chinese players make the trip over to Los Angeles, I would not be surprised. Maybe even APAC players, players from Southeast Asia, right? Like this could be a very, very big event. But it also is one of the biggest cities we've ever hosted an event in, and those tend to be expensive. So if you told me they didn't have much space, I also wouldn't be surprised.
hmm What are the actual dates of the tournament? May 26th. So it's not reasonably close to NAIC, right?
When
Yeah, I
is
think it's
NAS?
2 weeks before.
It's 2 weeks.
Okay. If it's 2 weeks before, because we've had like a single week gap in the past, and we've seen players from other regions come to attend um, both the regional before. I think it was Milwaukee in one of the years, and then
Hmm.
stick around in the U.S. until NAIC. 2 weeks is a bit of a longer gap, so can't say we'll see that for sure. But I don't think Adi's idea of invaders coming out for this one is very far fetched at all. So yeah, it's going to come down to how many seats they end up giving us. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then with that, we can go ahead and we can talk about the Goiania regionals. The only thing I know about the city is that there was a nuclear waste accident that happened there back in the 80s, or 80s or 90s, something like that. And that's all I know about this city. So, but it's not. It's from as far as I know, it's not one of the biggest cities in Brazil, right? Is this a little isolated? Was it hard to get to?
Yeah, no, it was easy to get to because I went with airplane, so just like 1 hour and a half drive.
Mm-hmm.
Trip was pretty easy, but the population is not too big. I think there's like maybe 8 million maximum people. Like, no,
Okay.
I think it's less than that. Yeah.
So there, I see only 102 masters after we saw, over 200, I think over 300 at the last regional in LATAM, and I saw Sao Paulo had a lot of people sign up too. Why was there only 102 players?
I have no clue. I think the city is just like there's nothing to do there, so maybe. And you can't go by car drive either, so maybe it's a bit expensive for some people.
Gotcha.
You can't. You're saying you can't drive there?
I mean, it's like from São Paulo, it's like I think 10 hours car drive or something.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yep.
That being said, the players that did show up, I was looking at this. I felt like this was like one of the like 2019 Ultra Series regionals because that those were also like 100-player regionals we had back in North America, where it felt like every player was there was competing for a Worlds invite. Every player was there was serious because, like you said, it is this relatively small city. I don't know how big the local base is there, so everyone's flying in. Everyone's trying really hard, very competitive, thinks they can win at least that $1,000 top 8 prize. And so there were a lot of really good players, even scrolling down into the top 32. Very, very competitive event. Of course, you got top 4. Tell us a little bit about your experience and your team.
Okay, so my experience overall, I had a great time there. It was super cool to meet my friends, and I think I brought a very funny team to use. Like I really like using Volcaron. I think it's so fun. And my tournament run, I faced a lot of good players. Actually, it was not easy at all. I faced Ugu, which is the first Brazilian to make day 2 worlds from day 1 last year. I faced also Sebastian Bisbal, who made top cut at World 17, and a lot of other Brazilian great players. So it was very fun, really.
Hold up, I'm pulling up the Stalruth one. I don't have that one pulled ready yet.
Oh yeah, for the schedule. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that there was a couple of hiccups with how the tournament was run. There was a top 8 DQ, I think.
I heard there was some drama. I heard that cops were called. Can you tell the story?
I don't know if that's actually true or not, but it is true that the player's mother was in the venue and he was really, really angry with the situation. And she said that like she was going to call the cops to see the cameras and like prove that the guy did nothing wrong. But yeah, the DQ, we don't know much about it because it was not told by the players. But apparently, what happened is in the hack check, there was no Pokemon in the battle box. So that was the first issue. Yeah. And the second issue was that there were 2 Tornadoes with the same moves and Terra, just different EV spreads. So what could have happened is like the player would change the Tornadoes between rounds to have better matchups. But the player claims that when he gave the switch to the judges, everything was fine, and someone changed it up. We don't know the truth, so yeah.
Gotcha. So it's a lot of just rumors.
That's a frustrating one because like the team not being in the battle box, if you just like forget to save before starting the tournament, that can happen, right? If you turn off your game or something.
Yeah.
And then true. I know I definitely have multiple Pokemon that have everything in common except for the stats. You're not supposed to have that when you go into a tournament. You're supposed to put them. I've been told to delete moves from them so they're distinct or just put them in Pokemon Home. I've been warned for judges for that before but I've never seen someone get DQ'd for just that on its own. It's always been a warning from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he like I don't know what happened, but Nader, which was the guy that was DQ'd, is a nice guy, and I had a felt bad for him. Like he was very sad with all this situation. I mean, he won the Curitiba regionals, so he was trying to win back to back and got the DQ. So, but yeah, the protocol is like if there's no sin in the battle box, I think that has to be the only choice the judges can make. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. But yeah, we do have all the teams from the top 32. Honestly, we got top 8, but we got the top 8 teams first and foremost. And the winner was Pedro Fialdini. I don't know much about this player. Is Pedro well known in Brazil?
yeah, so Pedro is very well known in the São Paulo community because everyone from São Paulo knows he's very strong, but he started playing kind of recently, so this is why he doesn't have many results. Yeah, I think from people outside São Paulo, maybe it's a surprise, but from people that is from São Paulo, we know from locals that he's a very strong player. So I think no surprises here.
That's awesome to see them get a big result for their name. You know, now more people will be able to recognize them from other regions. Won't say well, I can't say I give them too much credit for the team. I've seen this one before.
So
This
interesting.
team is obviously very strong, and yeah, you know that team could definitely go the distance. You are honestly running something pretty similar, right? You've basically had the version where you use Volcarona instead of the Landorus, and then a lot of the other stuff is similar. I guess you also don't have Choice Scarf or Shifu. That's another thing that's cool that I think is underexplored.
Yeah, so the way I approached this tournament was a bit different from how I usually approach because usually when I practice for a tournament, I just focus on like building one team. But this time, before Goiania, I was trying a lot of different teams, a lot of different variations. So I tested a lot of stuff. I tested Gojin Fire King Gambit. I tested Mongoose in balance. I tested other balance variations. And I really enjoyed this team, but I didn't like Landorus Eye because I think Landorus is really good, but it's so weird. Like I thought it was pretty weird to play without fairy resists, and
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't love my snow matchup either. So when I saw Poke Alex using the Volcarona team on on stream, it was Utrecht, I believe.
yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool. So I was like, hey, Volcarona is interesting. So I just completely stole the team and played some games on the best of 3 ladder on Showdown. And I thought it was pretty fun and very strong too. Volcarona is I was very impressed because I thought it wasn't great, but on practice it's very strong. And yeah, it was that.
The Urshifu, I don't actually remember if Pokealex had that or not.
Yeah,
The
right.
mystical.
He had Scarf as well. So basically, I thought that the Scarf wasn't being very useful because against fast teams like Tailwind teams and Icy Wind Fluttermane teams, which are very popular right now, I think Scarf is just like not great. So I came up with this idea of using Mystic Water with Terry Steel, and it was so good. I was very impressed with how good this set was throughout the tournament. Surging Strikes, Mystic Water, even without the Terra, you can KO Bulky Fluttermane, you can KO Xianpao. So it's just a lot of damage. And even against those Landorus teams, before fainting, you can go for an Aqua Jet and do like a lot of damage to either Fluttermane or Landorus or something. I thought it was really strong. And I also prefer the Mystic Water against Dragonite Xianpao, which is a problem for this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is definitely a cool thing that has fallen off a lot. Mystic Water or Shifu. I feel like all you see is Scarf now, so that's really cool to see it making a bit of a comeback on a boring team. I'm sorry, I'll say it. You know, the team isn't that exciting. But
You said in our tub chat after the tournament that we learned nothing from this tournament because all the teams were so boring. All the we've seen all these teams before, so we're gonna go over them anyways. But yeah, there's not gonna be that much. It didn't feel like there was that much that was totally out of left field that really changed the metagame. It just felt like a lot of teams. It feels at this point we know what the good mons are, and all the teams are kind of combinations of good Pokemon.
What about Diego's team? That looks like something a little different.
Gutierrez.
The seventh place. Diego.
yeah,
The
Gutierrez.
seventh. Yeah, that one. Um, has an Arcanine and a King Gambit. Those are not mons that you see normally together.
No,
true.
I don't disagree.
It's got,
Um,
got a Life Orb Bolt too.
yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of like slightly different sets than what you usually see on a team like this. You might expect the Arcanine to be a Gouging Fire or the Raging Bolts to not be here, but I guess those are the two Pokemon that kind of feel out of place. Normally, if you make that like a Gouging Fire Chien Pao, you're just looking at like Luca's team, and that's like the most comparable thing to a team like this. But dropping one Dragon type for the other Fire type that fills not a very similar role, but still a Fire type nonetheless, and then another Dragon type. And the team's probably still solidly well-rounded. You have Firewater Grass, Fairy, Steel, Dragon. It is just Fantasy Core and Firewater Grass. So at the end of the day, it's just all kind of like balance pieces. But this team is technically constructed a little bit differently.
I wouldn't say it's super exciting, but I guess it's different because it's not like it's technically just 6 good Pokemon with no real structure, I guess, behind it, or like I guess preconceived structure or team archetype behind it, but it is just good Pokemon, so I'm not surprised like it did well or anything. It's just interesting.
That is so funny that Adi called me out, though. I'm looking back at our messages, and I did link the tournament and say, this event taught us nothing, like thumbs up. Like just yeah, they're all just kind of meta teams. I'd say that the largest thing that I learned from this tournament was kind of just how a bit of the matchup, not RPS, but like just how matchups generally play out. Like it looks like the Trick Room team is going to prey on like faster offensive teams, and Psy Spam notably is very good into snow. Not actually sure if Dylan ended up playing any snow. Let me actually go look at the
Yeah,
stand.
he played Seb as in top 4.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, yeah, because I was very curious about that matchup, and it was close when I watched it. But and then it ends up losing in the finals to a team that I think has a lot of tools that are built to deal with Trick Room. You have double Fake Out plus the ability to switch in on an Expanding Force with either of those Fake Out mons. You can either disrupt the psychic terrain or have a natural Expanding Force immunity. This team just has so many things that are going to be annoying for trying to get off a Trick Room sweep in 4 turns. And yeah, it seems like that was like Dylan's team was just built to prey on snow and certain other matchups, but definitely not prepared for the matchup in the finals. Let me actually check if Dylan ended up.
I mean they beat that matchup in round 7. They beat the same person. So yeah, maybe I don't know if they both were guaranteed cut. So maybe it wasn't as serious. They were both X, or at the very least, Dylan was X1 at the time, so probably needed to win. So yeah, I don't know. Like they won. The Pedro won the run back, right? So, but clearly the matchup wasn't that one sided, and there's some similar teams. It looks like his loss to Victor and Swiss has some similar Pokemon on there. There's a Chen Pao, there's a Rillaboom, there's a Raging Bolt, there's a Landorus. It's a pretty similar team. And then he also Arthur's team's pretty different. There was one other team that I thought pretty similar. No, I guess not. I guess it's just just round 7. So it does look like this is the one matchup that he struggled with a little bit, even though he beat it in round 7.
Yeah, the finals was pretty close for people that did watch it. Like it was a 2-0, but there were some very key turns where if Dylan had picked something else and picked a different option, might have just won the game outright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is how it goes with hard trick room, I feel. I think
Hmm.
every game is winnable. Every matchup is like winnable if you outplay. Well, like I feel like hard CTM you, but like also every matchup is losable if they outplay you. I feel like it's always like two sides of the same coin. I feel like with hard TR, you have like all the tools, but you do need to like make reads and make good calls to win.
I
Hmm.
I do think the Terra Fairy Bear is cool. Someone in chat said that. Tio in chat said that. I agree. I think a lot of ways that teams that have Dark Shifu deal with Ursa is just pinning it with against whatever Terra type it has. This kind of covers for both those, right? And they have Sash, so you can't just OHKO it. So I do like that it's just one more level of redundancy against one of the bigger counters to this general type of team.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
well,
think both
interesting.
the players vary on Ursaluna and Fluttermane were very cool additions to the team. I think Fluttermane is like much cooler than the Ogre Pawn Rock. Like I don't know, it's
Hmm.
like best strong option that you need to respect, especially in the sun, right? So I think it was cool.
Yeah. Do you happen to know what booster it was?
I don't know. I
Okay.
actually don't
Okay.
know. That's a good question because I
Yeah,
don't
I was
think he had
curious if it
rebellion
was.
this string.
I was curious if it was like a late game special attack booster, kind of like dealing damage that way, or if it was speed to cover for certain annoying fast Pokemon early in the game. I don't know. Either way could work. Honestly, it's got a focus sash, so it's going to stick around. I was surprised to see that it didn't have Trick Room. I know that they already have 3 Trick Room setters, but Sash Flutter can definitely set up Trick Room in a pinch for your Trick Room team. But yeah, Dylan obviously knew what they were doing, so they made it a very deep run. That's really solid. Other than that, though, Agati, were there any other teams in this tournament that impressed you, or that ones that you thought were cool?
Yeah, so there are two actually from top 16.
Mm-hmm.
So the first is the Galarian Zapdos team, which is just a Goldango balance, but with Zapdos over Tornadoes, which is, I think it's very strong. Uh, I
Mm-hmm.
was I was fearing facing this team. Pedro Feitosa is playing the NPA as well, so he's a good player. And I was very impressed with how Victor Vieira played against me. We played a it was kind of like a mirror, but he had Ogerpon, I had Volcarona, and and yeah, I was very impressed with how he played. So I
Mm-hmm.
I think we are probably going to see more of him in the future. He got second place at last regional as well, so some consistent here as well. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's so weird
just
to
a
see this
standard.
team without Urshifu. The double fake out core, but no Urshifu. But I gotta say, if you're gonna do anything to replace that, I think Ogerpon is a very good Pokemon to pair with these. It's so funny. Obviously, Wolf did it earlier in this year, but uh, you have your fire and grass type fake out supporting a fire and grass type.
Yeah,
Uh, but it works. It works. They have different weaknesses and resistances. Obviously, you want to be setting up the grassy terrain for Grassy Glide at +3. That's super annoying for a lot of Pokemon if it happens to get up that Sword Stance. I remember playing a variation of this exact team on the ladder that had Focus Energy Ogerpon. That was also giving me a lot of trouble, which is very fun. Um, but Swords Dance does make a lot of sense for consistently boosting the damage of your Grassy Glide. Um, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, this team is kind of just standard everything else,
yeah.
but Ogerpon, the difference maker here.
One thing that I want to point out is that like in the past, most Latin players would use like just so much weird stuff. But
Hmm.
in the last few years, like I think maybe possibly because with all those sites on the internet that we can have like teams
Yep.
pretty much for free and so easily. Like and also because the average level got so much higher. Like usually we're just seeing like a lot of standard stuff.
I'm glad that you pointed that out because I think the main reason is like Open Team Sheet makes it much more accessible for people to look at tournaments and find exactly what they were looking for built by somebody else. Maybe somebody was like, I really like Rock Arcanine, Arcanine Hisui, but I don't know what Pokemon to put it around. And so they either see Taio's run with the Snow team, or they see this team from Diego here that got, top 8. And they can just take that, plug in the first EVs that they can think of, and then just start playing games. And it cut out a lot of the team building process where people would have to put things together on their own, or look at teams but not know how to, fill out all the moves and stuff. And Open Team Sheet and, like you said, all these other websites that are great resources have kind of helped everybody just catch up in terms of building and running good teams.
I disagree. I think this format is
all right,
boring.
Go ahead, Adi.
I think this format's boring, and that's why everyone's running boring teams, because you can't do anything interesting. There's too many archetypes already. There's only so many good Pokemon. Everyone's running the same good Pokemon in different combinations. And so, I mean, listen, Tiago Lazzani just got second at LAIC with a super cool, super out there team, classic Latam team with the Regieleki, right? And here he is. This team is also boring. He's still running a boring team. This is the guy who runs stupid shit, and he's running a boring team. Paul Ruiz always runs at least one weird Pokemon. Not this time. No, he's running just a stock. I don't think Komodo is a weird Pokemon anymore, right? It is a pretty stock standard team, or it's not a combination of 6 Pokemon I've seen before, but these are 6 Pokemon that are on your radar, right? When even the people who have a tendency to be more creative team builders are running kind of boring stuff, I think it's just it just means that this format is kind of a boring format.
Agati, have you ever run anything fun? Actually, no, I'm trying to think of a fun team that you've run, but I don't know. You're kind of like a boring guy.
Sorry. I use Dito, man.
What's the most fun team you've run?
I think my world's 19.
World's 19? Let me remember. Oh, wait. Oh, the Ditto stuff. Oh, God, yes.
But yeah, I just use the standard usually, just balance stuff and all this kind of boring stuff. And when I brought different teams, I don't usually do well.
I think the Ditto stuff did really well for you for a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything else was just a standard in this team. It was just a D.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And I had choice specs Coco, which was not common, but it was Coco.
Yeah.
This
I'm
is
looking at the team
just
again.
stock standard. Every single the Oceania team is a little out there, but you also didn't do super well there. So
Yeah.
I don't know, Adi. I think you can come to Vancouver and judge how stale the meta is. We'll see.
Listen, I tweeted about it. There's a non-zero chance I bring Serena to Vancouver. I've been running weird stuff and doing pretty well with it at locals. But the results from all these events has not made me feel good about that decision. It's more like a last resort type thing.
Wait, okay, so what about Snow?
What about Snow? No, I mean, Snow is okay. The thing about even things like the Pokemon like Komodo, Pokemon like Galarian Zapdos, Pokemon like Articuno, they are good Pokemon. They are a little off the radar, and it's cool to see. But they have high BST. They are all high base stat total Pokemon. They all have add multipliers. They all you can understand why these Pokemon could be good. You're not seeing, again, I gave you the example Serena because I won 2 Premier Challenges with Serena. That Mon does not have the base stat total to really compete. And none of these Pokemon that you see that are even kind of weird picks have low base stat totals. You see, I don't know, Galarian Articuno is another Pokemon. High base stat total, kind of a niche choice, but it's doing well because, okay, here's the first one where we see the fucking Indeedee Rotom Tinkaton team that went 4-3. But other than that, you don't see any low base stat total Pokemon in the entire top 32. Not a single one.
Yeah, but I'd argue that Articuno is Serena at least has historically been a Pokemon that has seen competitive usage. Articuno before Gen 9 did not see any competitive usage whatsoever.
Yes, but they entirely changed the way Snow worked this year, right? It's functionally a brand new
and we
Pokemon.
had Articuno in the game for a while, and we had a few.
It made
few
day
results,
2 worlds. Multiple people made day 2 worlds with it. It didn't cut. It got top 32 at Charlotte regionals. It's been around. We knew Snow was it didn't win a regional until just now, but it was around doing well at tournaments. literally from the time
It was doing
Articuno was in.
okay at tournaments.
It was
I don't
doing
know.
okay at
Like,
tournaments. It was on people's radar, and then Tio put it together. He figured out how to
oh,
bring it.
it was not on people's radar. Okay, it was not on my bingo card for Snow to win
No,
Utrecht, or even
but
top cut Utrecht.
but it was on my like list of teams ranked between 5 and 15 in the format, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
yeah. With Walking Wake Sun or what? Like, what's going on here?
Yes, and I think Walking Wake Sun could also win an event too. If you told me Walking,
Okay, yeah,
I'd be
you can't
surprised.
tell me you can't tell me that the format is boring if you think Walking Wake can win the format. Like, I'm just saying.
win the format.
Or
I-
sorry, win a tournament in this format.
Look at the sixth place team from Pedro. I do want to point this one out because I was like, wait, this has Insin and Gouging and Raging Bolt. They were just like double dragon, double fire, let's go. And sure enough, it's actually the clear amulet Dragon Dance one, which I always think is cool. I definitely think that set has viability. It doesn't seem like a team that needs Howl. The only Pokemon that would really appreciate a Howl is Ogerpon Wellspring. So I like the choice of Dragon Dance here. And instead, Ogerpon's going to be performing a bit more of a supportive role, giving it Follow Me so that it can just set up a couple of Dragon Dances and then start sweeping. I think the clear amulet set's always really cool.
Oh, it's Dragon Claw as well. I think this team is kind of similar to the a Japanese balance team that UV Slow was running. They were running Incin, Bolt, Gouger. I think it was also Wellspring and Flutter, and I think Lando was something else, but it was like this a very similar core at least.
Yeah, they might have had like an Amoonguss somewhere in there.
Yeah, it might have been a Mungus over Lando or something like that. But I think this DD Gouger is something that's just underexplored in general. I think it's actually pretty strong, and a lot of people are like pretty negative on it. But I think in the games that I've played with it, it's felt pretty strong. I just didn't like want to explore it too much, but I do think it has more potential than people give it credit for.
This is not the first team I've looked at from this regional that looks like it just folds to Rigorath Trick Room. Like this Raging Bolt doesn't have Snarl on it. Like the Gouging Fire, if you Terra Fairy the Farigiraf can't actually hit it. It's like a base 40 power heat crush.
It's base 80. It's base 80 still.
Okay.
And like you have Terra Fire, and then you can actually Dragon Dance to get more damage onto it, and you have like the thing with Gouging Fire with that with D-Dance is that you don't have to commit to running the high bulk, low high speed, like low attack variants because you have more flexibility with your EV spread, so you can run more attack if you want to.
That's true. No, I mean I don't hate the idea of the clearing like Gouging Fire. I think it's pretty cool. I think we have seen it on some Japanese teams recently too. I just look at this is the second team I looked at and thought, wow, like I don't know. I feel like Ursaluna Bloodmoon could put in a lot of work against this team, especially just
Why don't you do it then, Adi?
No Snarl on Raging Bolt. How I feel like Snarl is the reason to run AV Raging Bolt. I can't believe you're not running that move on this guy.
Oh my god. I think we all did skip past the other Articuno getting 25th. This was notably Articuno Galar. I can't say I love this because this is Articuno Galar with Expanding Force, but it does have to Terra to use it. It's Terra Ground. It's Size Spam Trick Room, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a little bit silly. You can do that technically. I don't know. You can Expanding Force with Articuno only if you Terra it. Is that worth it? I don't know. You tell me.
It's an interesting Pokemon. It does beat Instant as well, technically, with Terra Blast, but I don't know. It's definitely an idea I had, and in practice, it feels a lot worse. If they don't give you the boost, it tends to not really do anything.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing ever, though.
Articuno Galar is. I thought we saw a couple of the European events do okay, but they didn't have this set. They didn't run in DD Trick Room teams. So I don't know. I would hate to have to rely on Hurricane as my flying move of choice without rain. That seems. I mean, I understand why you're not running Air Slash, but God, that is I couldn't do it. But I think Terra Blast is like the standard on Articuno for some reason. So that part is not that unusual, and I guess it
Yeah.
is must be pretty much a Terra Hog if they're running Terra Ground, right? So
Another
Well,
good
Jagger-
team that has kind of existed but is not like super on the radar right now is Rodolfo in 15. Um, this team is a bit of a variation on like a couple of different teams. We've seen these Roaring Moon balance types teams, and we've seen, like the team that Scott built with Oregon 2 and Amungus. Teams like this. So this is kind of a bit of a blend, and we do see another Mystic Water Urshifu, which I think is interesting enough to point out.
I've played this team many times on ladder before. I've played too much
Yeah,
ladder, but I've played this team many times on ladder before.
of course, of course. We've seen it, but like I just haven't seen like big tournament results from it. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's not top 16 here. It's not like the biggest finish for it, but it's just another team to watch out for because I don't know, everything else above it looks so similar, so samey.
I think it's solid. It uses a lot of the same stuff that has made like some of these other teams strong. Like you have the Ensign plus the Urshifu, and then you have Ensign Amogus. P2 is a very strong defensive core, and then you're supporting like three really strong attackers. You give Roaring Moon and Fluttermane some space to operate, and they can really take over a game very quickly. And so, not surprised that it did well. It wasn't maybe the best finish ever, but it was still a strong finish. And I think this type of team, if piloted by a good player, can always go far in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I think Italian used this team to do well at the Global Challenge, right?
I believe it.
I believe it, yeah.
Rodolfo's team. Agati, you're talking about the 15th place Rodolfo's team, Roaring Moon.
I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't remember. What?
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't remember exactly who did it though. If the team was hosted or not.
This team?
I should just open up the stream. Look up. Yeah, that one. I don't know. Are there any other teams that we want to talk about here? I know that like there isn't just a ton to talk about this week, but it does feel a little early to be previewing Vancouver. But that's kind of where we're at, right?
Yeah, I'm looking through the like unusual Pokemon, and even the weird Pokemon that got championship points aren't that weird. It's
Typhlosion Hisui went 4-3, and then
did it bubble?
I saw Charizard somewhere in there. Charizard down at 58th.
It's only top 32 CP. Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Only one snow, even though the snow did make top 8. I do think, for the record, I think snow is a very strong archetype. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see how well it performs like in the longer term, but even the quote unquote bad matchups that people are talking about with it, either you have to like sack a lot to get to get those really good matchups into snow, and like the other matchups end up being really bad, or you end up in a situation where you actually just don't have a good matchup. So like a lot of the common meta teams still just don't have good matchups in the snow.
I do want to point out something that was revealed to me that I didn't really think about, but this even occurred in the finals of Utrecht. That Ogerpon Fire with its Mold Breaker does ignore Snowcloak. So you can't Terra for that boost. But if you do, avoid Terraing, you will always hit your Ivy Cudgel into a Snowcloak Articuno. That's pretty funny.
all right.
I think
Calc is right. How much do you do?
2 KO if a Veil is up though.
And you don't resist Blizzard if you don't Terra either. So.
And yeah, if you don't Terra, you don't resist Blizzard, you die. Yeah, no, it's definitely not the best. Don't love it.
Just hit.
Just hit. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, honestly, that's the real answer.
So-
And whenever I'm playing against it, and I'm like in a situation where it's like, do I play around them? No, just hit. You have to.
So some other stuff for that Lab Mouse just pulled up. We got first off, we got top 12 in usage. Is so nothing too surprising. Until we get to, I think, for Rigorath in top 12 is a little unusual. That mon making a bit of a resurgence. Amoongus not in the top 12 is maybe the other really surprising thing. But otherwise, I don't see
Wait,
anything.
really? I think Forage has been in top 12 in usage for like all the most recent regionals, right? I thought.
Has it? Was it top 12 in Utrecht? I feel like it has dropped out after like Charlotte or after the Liverpool regionals.
Somebody can
No.
fact check me.
I don't know.
I think it was still top 12 at Utrecht.
I might be wrong. Overall, like the top 13 are roughly the top 13 that you expect to see. And then the most common teams, and keep in mind this is just about 100 people, so it's about 1% per one person per percentage point. 5 people brought stock standard Torn Glim stuff. Can I zoom in here? Yeah, here we go. 5% people, 5 people brought stock standard Torn Glim. 4 people brought snow, and 1 person made top 8 with it. And then you can see the rest of some of the other common teams that 2 or 3 people brought. But those are some of the teams that were more commonly copied. I guess you can see the snow was very commonly, at least 4 people used it, right? So that is interesting to me.
Sure, yeah.
It is kind of funny that like.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. I think it's kind of funny that even though a lot of the top teams look kind of samey, like they're all balanced cores with like built around Incin, Rillaboom, like kind of feel. They don't actually end up being like the exact same 6. Like they all took slightly different variations on it. I mean, some of them, I think the winning team is the exact Japan balance 6, but there's been like a lot of different like slight variations on those 6 that were taken.
That is pretty much where the metagame is at right now. Is as Adi was complaining about earlier, there's just like a subset of Pokemon that you can make your team from, and it's very hard to find anything outside of it. So shout out to the people that are still innovating. It can be hard.
That's
but
just
yeah. We'll go ahead. I was just going to say we're probably going to see more of the same at Vancouver. I don't know if there's going to be any major metagame shifts or metagame trends that I know of going into it. Besides, like I guess like Ting Dozo is catching on. Ting Dozo stuff that's been doing well in a lot of like best of 1 Japanese ladder, because there was a team that did well in the global challenge with it, I believe. And other than that,
there's another team that's been having a lot of resurgence on ladder from my experience, which is the Hoj team, as Alex likes to call it, but the Blood Moon the Blood Moon Tail Room team with Tornadus, Iron Hands, Fridge, Giraffe. That team has shown up big time on ladder in my many games. It's like after the balance team, it was the 2nd most popular team or 3rd most popular team that I saw on ladder. Like it was more popular than everything except for like, well, actually no, it was like 3rd or 4th. But like other than like Hard TR, Ting Dozo, and Balance, it was like in the top 4 with the other those other 3. But a lot of people are using it right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything else new though. Why don't we go ahead and just move on to previewing Vancouver?
All right, yeah. All right, let's jump right into Vancouver. So Vancouver, this regional, I think that Gallery Games actually mentioned that there were still a couple spots left. Well, let me find it. So right now we have 417 Masters. I thought I saw a few days ago there were like 30 slots left for VG Masters. So you can still sign up if you don't know about this, but 417, I don't think it's close to any kickers or anything. It's a pretty comfortable. Is there a kicker for top 250 CP? That's 512, right? So we're not even close to that.
512, yeah.
So
we're
yeah.
not close.
So but yeah, it's a decently sized regional. We gave it I already closed your tweet. Sorry, Alex.
But we 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 difficulty. Yeah, 3 Tim Hortons in walking distance out of 5 minutes or something like that. Anyways, yeah. Open slots though. So Agati, if you're still looking to make a last minute trip, if you're feeling good, the option is there.
$6,000, the easiest North American regional of the year. All right, it's just that easy.
It pays for itself.
But
it's crazy to me because like there are some Americans going to São Paulo regionals, and then like at first I was like, why they're doing this? And then I realized like it's so cheap for them, and the prices are so good right now. So it actually
Yeah.
makes sense for Americans to go to Brazil, like play regionals, which is crazy to me.
I looked at the flight prices and it was like, oh, it's like $600, $500 to go to Brazil. Like I could have swung it. It's not unreasonable. Same with Stockholm too. Like I wouldn't be surprised if you see some Americans there too. That was also about the same price, and about the same size. It's also only like 300, 400 players there. So I don't know. If you're trying to make some money, looking at you, Joe.
You really think this is the easiest regional in North America this year? I don't know if that's
Yeah,
true.
I think we've had a couple at 3 already. Oh wait, you're saying? Are you saying that Adi said this, or that
I said that. I don't know if it's true or not. It's definitely one of the bottom 3 or 4.
Okay, sure.
It does seem though like a lot of people are flying out for this one. I've heard from a lot of people like, oh yeah, this guy's going, this guy's going, this guy's going. So many out of region players are going to be there this weekend, and so I don't know. You could always say like the smaller regional. Sometimes the competition is more tight, but I'm also not going to try and oversell it. I think a 3 out of 5 is totally fine for the rating on this one.
3 out of 5 is pretty valid.
But
what
the
about
problem is that me and ESM are going to be there, and so that people do have to watch out for that. We have a tournament or a region to defend, so we'll watch out.
What about the PNW locals, man? PNW locals?
Yeah, the PNW. Rafa is from Vancouver himself. He's going to be there, so
Randy's going to be there. Who else is from Vancouver? There's a few other players, right?
Andrea.
Maybe not.
I think it's.
We gotta pick some locals for our preview. Dimitri, he's in Vancouver.
Yes,
Andrea's from Vancouver, right?
He's probably going. He's probably playing. I mean,
all right. I'm just gonna start pulling up the past regional results because we had Vancouver for a stretch. I don't know if they had it before 2017. 2017 they had it, and that was actually my second regional ever. So I did go to this one. And then they didn't have it for a while until 2022. They had it again. And by the way, 2017, this regional was not downtown where it's held now. Right now, starting in 2022, they held it like right on the docks. It's perfect location, right in the middle of everything. Beautiful venue. Except for the fact that in the middle of the last round, there was a ferry's horn that went off for like 2 minutes long in the middle of the round. It was really funny. But other than that, the venue's amazing. Whereas this venue kind of sucked. It was in like South Vancouver. It was a little farther away from everything. So glad they upgraded that. Just that's a side note. I always do appreciate nicer venues. It really can change the regional experience. But 2017, smaller event. We just barely missed, I think, 100 players to get top 32 championship points. My sob story is that I went X2 and I got 18th place and I missed Worlds by 60 points. So if we had 100 players, I would have gotten to Worlds. And won by River Davis, who did they still play?
River, I don't know. I haven't seen River around, but River's in the area. On a different note, because every time I see VG17, I'm just like, goat format. I want to ask, Agati, what's your favorite format?
17.
Let's go. I knew you had good taste. I knew it. I knew Agati was a 17 fan.
I can't believe I couldn't go to World 17. Like, it was my dream to play this format again and like play World 17. It was so much fun, man. I love it.
17 was so fun. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just looking at all these teams, and these teams just look fun. Like I would have fun playing a number of these teams. Using any of them. River's team is pretty cool. We can't talk too much about the format because most of the people are Zoomers and don't even know the context of them. They're like, yeah, maybe Bulu's common. It's not.
Okay, but
anyways.
This is the regional that Justin Wan cut with Guillotine Smear Goal, I think, was what he was using. So this one lives in infamy for that.
I was going to say, it was Jaywani always uses a Guillotine Smear Goal, but this time we made it deep. You're right. Other names, though, this is why, of course, we do the histories to look at names for who we're going to pick for smart money. The names that I imagine are going is Dimitri, probably a good chance. Zhang has done, not to be confused with Zhang. Aaron Zhang, Cybertron, you might know him. He's done very well historically in Vancouver. I think we'll see his name again in 2023, the most recent one.
He's not casting. He was tweeting about his year so far. I can pull that up. But I think he's going,
I don't know if he's going or not, but he has gotten, I think, 3 top 4s here. And the third one isn't listed here because it's Worlds. When Worlds was held in Vancouver, Aaron got top 4. That was the famous Will-O-Wisp Miss Worlds, I believe. And
go ahead. I think he's not going.
No, you're good.
I think he's in. I think he's going to be in South Korea during Vancouver Regionals, so he might not be attending this one.
I don't know. I mean, the flight from South Korea might be cheap. Maybe he's just going to like go there, go back.
Swift. Go pull the Taylor Swift.
Yeah, exactly. Like the president of South Korea, or whoever's in charge over there, will be like, Zhang will be there. We will make sure Aaron Zhang makes it to the regional. Okay.
Hayden.
I don't know if Hayden's still going, but Riley's been going to like a lot of things, right? Would you think Riley would be there?
Riley now lives in Florida, I believe, because he goes to Florida.
I do know it's the
locals.
opposite corner.
So I don't know if he's going all the way to Vancouver from Florida. That is about as far away as you can get.
Right, but I think he's just been attending a lot, and obviously doing well enough to validate it, or to whatever you want to call it. So to justify it. Gary will be there. I do know Gary is still a PNW warrior, so a good pick if you're looking for one. Let's go ahead and talk about the next one. Held more recently, 2022, after a sizable gap. Anybody think Gavin is going to win this one?
I think Gavin's team might win this one.
Right. No, I don't think Gavin's team is going to win this one. Audia has a lot of illegal Pokemon. I don't know how to tell you this, but I don't think anybody's going to be allowed to bring Lunala or Groudon. The rest, though, that's fair game. Go ahead. If you want to bring Instant Grim Venuzard, be my guest.
Hell yeah. That's a good team.
Yeah, with Ninetales Fluttermane. I think he's fine.
I've been a personal story. I've been hanging out with 5th place Izzy a lot lately. Izzy will not be competing, but I always talk about how Izzy beat Adi and Justin. I think both, and they were both just like this matchup is impossible. There's no way we can win this. And I was the one that helped a lot with.
she hacked me out. She hacked me out in round 7. That was totally winnable.
All right. Well, anyways, Izzy clapped both of them, and I just remember having to be across the country, just hearing about this. Like, dude, what do we do against this stupid Izzy team? It's so annoying, and I'm just like, God, just win, guys. But Izzy was stomping them, and now he gets to forever have that over me.
Do you remember the original version of our team had a Regieleki on it? And it stomps this matchup specifically. It would have been really, really good to have a Regieleki on that team.
Shut up.
And you were like, there's no reason for a Regieleki on this team. And lo and behold. Nah, it was fine. The funny story with that team was that we had an Alchemy on the team the week before. Of course, you and Justin cut the Secaucus regionals the week before that. We switched it to Tapu Fini because we were scared people were going to run Dialga because Aaron Trailer tweeted about Dialga. I don't think Aaron Trailer showed up with Dialga, but all 3 of us fought a Dialga in our tournament run. Me, Justin, and Donald all faced a Dialga, and we all beat it because we switched to Tapu Fini. So it did work out. But
yep.
This was a fun tour because 4 of top 8 was Tub, me, Justin, John, and Gavin, and we were all in the same Airbnb. And so the 7 people who competed in our Airbnb, 4 of us top cut, which is pretty stacked.
Wait, what is John's team?
Oh yeah,
John was cooking. Anyways, we can't spend too much time focusing on the teams because again, people don't even know the format. But John and Justin both not going to be there. John Mark, I would actually expect to be there. Adi is going to be there if anybody actually wants to pick him. I mean, he's open. He's available, guys.
I've won 2 Premier Challenges in the last week, so
Yeah, okay. He's on a bit of a hot streak, so Agati, you're up first. So if you want Adi, you're first.
Oh, we got one.
Anyways, I don't know if there's any other names to mention, like in the rest of like the top 16 that we think are going. Demetrios shows up again.
Fiona is
Gary
surely
shows
going.
up again.
Another
Yo, look
Canadian.
at Gary's team though.
Jesse Romolo is another Canadian player who is quite good. I don't know if he's cut a regional or not, but he's come really close a couple times. I know he got 9th at Fort Wayne.
Dude. All right, I do have to bring it back to what ESM said. He said, "Look at Gary's team." I'm only looking at Gary's team because Gary got top 8 with Alolan Eggy and then tried to do it again in 2022. I would not be surprised. Gary did just get his Worlds invite. He might bring the Alolan Eggy again. He might do it just because.
Yeah, he was gonna bring Alolan Executor to what was it, San Antonio, or no, it was Portland, and then they changed Dragon Cheer to like they bug fixed it, and so he like last minute swapped back to his like Worlds team or whatever. But like, I think he might bring Alolan Executor, dude. Like, I'm not even trolling.
He's gonna do it.
Okay, so the other funny Alolan Eggy story is we were doing a bunch of data analytics for our in 2022 for our Worlds team, trying to figure out what does Calyrex Ice lose to. And the Pokemon that had the highest single win rate against Calyrex Ice of all things was Alolan Executor, because Gary was the only person using it and was farming every single Calyrex Ice he faced. I don't think any of us faced him in our crazy hot streak in 2022, but it's the #1 win rate against Calyrex Ice.
Dude, that's
Didn't
so
even
good.
bring this Pokemon though, like the matchup.
No, it's definitely not. It was definitely the Pokemon around it, but just a funny tidbit. Funny
Gary
little bit.
looks like so bad into Cali Ice too. Like, I don't know, whatever. It's fine, I guess.
Okay. So let's move on to the last one, the most recent one, just a bit over a year ago.
I didn't attend this one, so I
regional
care
event.
so much less about it. But this one taken over by some Canadians. So Abdullah Sempra winning his first regional ever with Sun. So maybe it shouldn't be too surprised if Torkoal Walking Wake wins the entire thing. We saw Sun pop off in Vancouver once before, and we saw Ryan Lassetto, another Canadian from the Toronto area, get second at the regional as well. This was back in Regulation B, so you can see peak Great Tusk format. Peak Iron Bundle was still good back in the day. Peak Dozo, all that stuff. So a lot of the good old days Pokemon from series Regulation B before we had to deal with the Chiyu and stuff.
Yeah, wait, Dimitri also top 8'd this event as well. Wait, Dimitri's popping off at Vancouver events.
Len is another player who he got 10th at this one. He got top 16 at the last one. Pretty consistently doing well at Vancouver. Did he get 9th
I
at
was just
Knoxville?
I was kind of randomly curious because I saw Aaron Zhang in top 4 with his Talonflame, and I believe he missed a Will-O-Wisp in this set too, which everyone was joking about. But Talonflame, I want you guys to tell me who is Talonflame's strongest soldier. You know how Limitless does that thing? Audie, don't open up the page.
I won't.
Who do you think is Talonflame's strongest soldier, like Limitless has defined as the best Talonflame player of all time? They are still playing today and are still doing very well today.
All right.
Oh man, I'm trying to think if there's
Have they
other formats where Talonflame was
Talonflame?
used. Did they mostly use Talonflame this generation?
They have not used Talonflame much this generation. Or no, they did use Talonflame this generation.
Okay, but not primarily known for using Talonflame this generation. It sounds like.
Honestly, maybe somewhat. I don't know. It's been a minute. Like the big hint is that they used Talon.
2016.
This is like all encompassing. So it would include like 16 minutes heyday as well as early reg like A, B, C.
Someone in chat guessed Toller, and I think that's a really good guess.
Toller is not even in the top 8.
Well, I was gonna guess James Evans, but he's probably too young, right? So
Dude.
maybe.
Number 2, James Evans.
Oh fuck!
He was number.
I had the right instinct. I don't know who's number 1. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my trigger.
I guessed Cedric Bernier, Talon.
Cedric is not in the top 8.
I didn't play 2016, so I could not tell you who did well with Talonflame back then.
Yeah.
So, honestly, a lot of the finishes with this Talonflame are from current year, so
Okay.
don't worry about it. They were at
Justin
big
Karras, maybe?
big tournaments.
Karras won a regional with
Karras
it?
was third. Karras is third.
Okay.
Is Choppa in the top 8?
Chuppa is the one.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, he He's used Talonflame quite a lot this generation.
Yeah, Jumba's Talonflame's strongest soldier. I just thought that was kind of funny, but I had to bring myself back to Regulation A and stuff. Oh, I see why Abai picked Talon. I get it now. I just had to remember why Chumba was even known for using Talonflame. It was because, yeah, we were playing a different format back in the day, huh? Back like a year ago, if things feel so different. Great Tusk is everywhere here, dude. What happened to that guy?
That guy is not good.
No, unfortunate. I think it was a fun Pokemon. It was so fun.
Iron Treads, though. That Pokemon is good. Yeah, it was Raging Pulse. What else do you need to do?
A name that showed up as second place in the 2022 Vancouver Regional shows up again at 13th place. Zach Emergian cooking way too hard with this team. There's a lot to take in. I promise that even though some of the stuff might look weird because it's from a metagame a year old, that team didn't make sense then. It doesn't make sense now. It's definitely a funny one.
14th here as well. PNW local.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than that, talking about names that'll maybe be there, I would it probably a decent chance that Neil's there, Canadian.
Sempra will be there.
I think
Ryan will be
Neil's
there.
in Cali right. I think Neil's in Cali right now, but it wouldn't surprise me if he went to the regional. Anyways,
You think Gavin's gonna go?
Gavin is another good pick. Again, if anybody wants to pick Gavin, feel free. And other than that, looking down, I don't know any like sure attendees. Just scrolling. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to Smart Money.
All right.
Agati, you know the deal with Smart Money. You just gotta pick who you think is winning the whole thing. You just get one shot, and you're up first. Who do you want?
I'm going with Sempra.
Sempra, the back-to-back?
Yeah.
I believe it.
Picking the best Canadian player to win the Canadian regional. Understandable.
Yeah.
Sempra isn't
All right,
going.
yes, you are up next.
Abai said Sempra isn't going.
Wait, Sempra isn't going?
Is that actually true?
Yeah. All right, if you want
That'd be crazy if he's not.
Well, if he's not, I can choose another one, right?
Oh, of course.
Abai
So
said
if
I took a spot in Airbnb. So
If he's not going, I'm going with Joe UX9.
Joe UX9, another
UX
strong player.
Joe UX9
Joe's got to be going, right?
I think so.
There's no
I
way
mean,
he's
not just in Toronto, man.
So I guess Sempra was going to go, but backed out, assumedly because you're taking his spot in an Airbnb. All right, ESM. Why don't we pick yours?
I'll pick
Here's mine.
Alex.
Who do you got? You're gonna pick me? Oh no!
I think PNW is strongest player right now, and
Oh
so
my god!
we'll go for Alex.
Can't believe
Okay.
you win one game of Wingspan and all of a sudden you're being called PNW's strongest player.
I'm kind of goaded with the birds, bro. I thought about picking ESM, but I was worried that if he picked me, that it would be cheesy if I picked him. So now I won't pick him. And I did come in with a different pick that I was going to pick regardless over him because I wanted to avoid this situation entirely. But I wanted to mention the fact that I was avoiding it on purpose. The name I'm going with is Colin. I want to pick Colin. Colin might go. We crushed it at Portland. We're going to do it again.
All right,
you're up.
This is
and,
just
you're
all
still
of
on the board.
This is just all of Portland's top 8. Should I also pick someone who got top 8 at Portland?
Apparently.
No, I have a fun pick. I think that a Pokemon that I was just saying this when we were looking at Brazil. I think this Pokemon is actually kind of becoming good again. Is Farigiraf. It fell off a little bit, and the person who won a regional with Farigiraf earlier, I think can do it again. No, I'm not talking about Wolf. I'm talking about Giovanni Costa. I think he keeps using Comfort. I think his team is actually pretty well positioned right now, and so I wouldn't be surprised if he did well.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to mention Wolf. I was like, dang, wait. Is Wolf going?
I don't think Wolf is going.
Dude,
I don't think so.
The problem with being on the West Coast is that Wolf doesn't come to these regionals, and so because Wolf is there, they're all Mickey Mouse regionals. You get to just write them off.
Wolf got top 16 at this one, right here. He's the Wolf.
Oh, you're right. Yes, my bad. Yep. Yeah, no, you can. It's the eternal problem. Like I won Portland, but was Wolf in attendance? No, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't count. Doesn't mean anything.
Mine was also
Um,
Mickey
also,
Mouse
Mickey
regionals.
Sacramento. Yeah, was Wolf at Sacramento? No,
Nope.
no, Mickey Mouse Regional.
It's the West
Um,
Coast Mickey experience.
It's especially funny because half of Wolf's regional wins were back when like there were 3 regionals happening at the same time, and so only a third of the players would show up to them.
so it's fair, honestly fair, kind of fair. I forgot about that part. Yeah, the triple weekend. Um, okay, let's go ahead and since we've done our
You
smart
guys
monies,
have
we'll.
different regionals in the same day?
This is back in the like
Oh,
olden days of VGC, like 2014, 2015 was like this, was it?
Agati, what year did you start?
I got into VGC by watching Worlds 14.
Yeah, pretty much the same for me. Um,
But like back in
yeah,
the day, Brazil didn't have like. I think it was starting to have locals.
gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
back then in like 14, 15, and maybe 16, we would have these like regional blocks. They were like they would like be one for each season. So like there was fall regionals, winter regionals, and spring regionals, and they usually like slapped them all together like either on same weekends or a weekend apart. Um, and so it actually made it very difficult to attend, like especially like every regional, like certain players do nowadays. But like sometimes even two back to back was pretty unheard of. I feel like people just didn't travel for the game nearly as often back then. People mostly went to the ones that were in their region. Um, and so back then they would they would have like 3 regionals grouped together. It'd be like maybe one East Coast, one West Coast, and one like South or like Central U.S. kind of regional all grouped together. I don't know if
And how
audience
many
visual is
players
helpful or
did
not. I
you
haven't
have
looked,
there?
but
I
what'd you say? Sorry, Agati. What did you say? Sorry.
How many players in each regional?
Oh, I mean, well, we didn't like have like hard caps then, but I don't remember what our numbers looked like back in 2015 and stuff. We were probably like 150s and stuff. I don't know what we were doing back then.
That's a lot actually. Like considering
Yeah,
there
it's
were
not
like
bad. I don't know. We need Randy in the chat, but Randy doesn't seem to be around right now.
So I pulled up Sarah B's 2014 regional dates, and so you can see that there's one October 12th, one October 19th, and then 3 the same weekend, the next weekend in October, across the country, right? And then they do something similar where one week in January, and then 3 the next weekend in January, and then another one that. So you could reasonably go to 3 regionals in 3 weekends, but like you said, there wasn't that culture of traveling nearly as much. I think most people, from what I could tell, reading old Nugget Bridge reports, most people would go to one regional every one, and some people, if it was convenient, would go to 2.
Well,
Yeah.
even when,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead. You said what were you gonna say?
Oh no, even when I started playing VGC, which was in 2019, like there was the culture around fucking like people would still call them what is it like fake like I don't remember what the exact term was, but like they would say it's like a fake invite if you just like traveled to get all your all your points or whatever. Like there was much less of that culture, and then after the like pandemic, especially now it's just like a normal thing. But like before, in
Well,
like even
that's
in
the word.
2019. Oh yeah, Wallet Warrior. That's the word.
Thank you, Maddie, in the chat.
And like if you went to multiple events, like people would legitimately say that you're like a Wallet Warrior instead of like you didn't earn your World's invite or whatever. Like, but now that's just like how everyone does it. Like very few people will only go to like 1 or 2 regionals. Like even if you end up qualifying for Worlds at like 1 or 2 regionals, like most people still go to like a lot of those types of players still end up going to a lot of regionals anyway, just because they like to compete. So it's like the culture around it is so much different nowadays as the game has gotten way bigger.
Well, I mean, part of it is also the prize money increase, and yeah, part of
Yeah, I don't know. I would say it's like not that big of a like. Obviously, the prize money has increased a lot, but like even last year, where the prize money wasn't that much bigger, we still had a lot of people going to a bunch of events, and I think like the prize money now is like it's more of an incentive for like the top players to go to a few more events. But in general, I think like most people who are going to many of these events, like last year I went 6-3 at a bunch of regionals or whatever, and I traveled to a bunch of events. But like I wasn't earning money at those events or anything. It was like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who will get their invite just by traveling more, and that's not like something that's frowned upon nowadays. It's like that's just pretty normal.
It's not. The hot take that I have is that number does not actually change that much. The number of people who are traveling around the country to get their World's invite is going to be probably about the same as it was in like 2019, 2018. You're going to see slightly more Americans get their World's invite. It's maybe 100 now instead of 70 back then. But that means that like the majority of the people are only going to one or two events anyways. And there's a few top players who go to events to win events. But like, yeah, it's just like I think there's just more players who want to go to one or two events now. Is really what's driven the size up, more so than any sort of.
I just mean like the culture behind it, like what people say about it. Like you don't like the term wallet warrior isn't something that exists anymore. Like nobody says that anymore. So it's like.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
people said it last year at the day 2 race a little bit, right? So
sure. But like in general, that it doesn't exist as much, and like I think that the change in the culture is very different because back then it just wasn't a thing to travel to events.
I mean, even 2017 or 2019. I remember Yihui was kind of forced himself into the stipend race because he was going to all these like Latin events, traveling around the world for these events.
That was 2019, I think,
and that was really frowned upon. Yeah, and I remember that the previous year, all the snowballers had a gentleman's agreement not to go to Latin events because if one person did it, everyone would have to start doing it to really keep up. And then Yihui started doing it, and I think Yihui ended up 9th anyway, so it didn't end up working out for everyone else. But yeah, like it was. I think that nowadays, if someone really started we do see people travel all over the world, but now even like it's not frowned upon at all. It's just
You can always count on the Qua brothers to fill you in on some VGC history. I forgot that the BFL increase is another large factor contributing to people traveling more. Like it used to be just three regionals in your BFL or so, and they would hold 3 like in the block, and so it was just kind of like it made more sense to just attend the 3 that were in your block and fill your BFL that way. And then if you go even like that far back, so I think mid-seasons also shared a BFL with regionals. It was kind of crazy, but they also rewarded like 90 points for first. I don't want to go all the way back and talk about the entire PGC history. That's different, but regardless, yeah, there's definitely a bit of a culture change. I think we're getting a bit lost in the sauce, though. Let's.
We had time to kill. I figured we could talk about this for a little bit.
That's true. That is definitely true.
But yeah, let's move on to the Calcus, right? This is a show where one person will name a damage calc, and the rest of us have to guess a number that's hopefully in the range of that damage calc. And so I guess normally. Agati, you said that you haven't really. Did you have a calc in mind, or do you want some time to think about one?
I'll think about one, but I need a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael, how are you?
I'll start off with one, just to get us into it, and so I'm going to present it with like the EVs and stuff, and then everybody else just tells me a number. By the way, I forgot to mention this earlier when I was telling you about it, Agati, but basically, I say the calc. Everybody thinks about it for a second, then says out loud, like, I'm ready, and then I call on a person to say their calc. But don't just, like, yell it out as soon as you're ready. Okay, the calc that I want to do is Ting Lu, no attack investment at all, no nature or anything, going for Sand Tomb into Glamora with just 4 defense. How much is the Sand Tomb doing to Glamora? The Glamora is basically bulkless. The Ting Lu is basically attackless. So I don't really have any other multipliers or anything to tell you about. It's just that. How much does Sand Tomb do to Glamora?
I got a number.
I have no idea.
I got a number.
I need to think about it. It's 35, the base power?
I'm not supposed to tell you. You got to know, bro. This is what you're in tournament. Your Glamora is about to take this Sand Tomb. Do you have Terra? Or do you not? That's fair. You're not a Glamora player. But if you played, all right, you're the Ting Lu. Are you getting a...
Okay, I think it's doing.
All right, wait,
That's.
don't say the number. Just say when you're ready.
I've. Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, I'm gonna pick you first because you're the least confident. I got it. Go ahead.
55%.
55. Okay. ESM.
I have no clue. I have no clue.
45,
45. Less than half. Okay.
less than
Audie.
half.
No, it's just more than that. It's 65.
65. All right, so a bunch of fives.
No.
45, 55, 65. Audie will go ahead and plug it in and confirm our results.
So you said Glamora 4 HP, 0 defense, and
Yeah.
Tinglu 0 attack investment with Sand Tomb. And
I
he's
don't actually
doing-
know how real the set of Glamora is, by the way, but that's fine.
Some they don't have a lot of bulk sometimes, but
Oh my god.
yeah, 62 to 75.
That's
It
way
is.
off.
Yeah, it's getting the two shot, and I mean honestly, like if it's two shotting, it's two shotting, right? I don't think it really makes a difference at that point, but
Yeah. If you get that high roll, like the highest roll, you might be able to
Yeah.
KO it with 2 ticks of Sand Tomb.
Yeah. You get
but-
13 ticks at the highest 2 rolls, maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. EVing my Glim for this. That's a good idea, Mike.
It's just the highest roll. It's 112 and then 120. You can see there's a huge jump between the second and last one.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's
so funny.
What is that? Well, I don't understand damage calcs enough to know what's going on there. What the heck? Why does it just randomly do 8 more sometimes?
It's because it's 4 times super effective, so it has.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty funny. Okay. Well, who wants to go next?
I've got one.
Me.
Go ahead. Yeah, you got it.
Agati, go ahead.
Okay, so Choice Scarf, Max Attack, Adamant, Galarian Zapdos,
Yeah.
using Brave Bird into a Dragonite without bulk, and there's Xianpao on the field.
Okay. The Dragonite is bulkless, you
Oh.
said?
Yeah, no bulk. Yeah.
No bulk. Okay. Ooh. Big Brave Bird. No, like flying Terra or anything, right? Just neutral Terra.
Yeah. No Terra. Yeah.
Okay.
You said choice band, adamant, no other multipliers, and Chempa.
Yeah,
Choice
so,
Scarf.
did I say choice band?
No,
said
you
Choice
said
Scarf.
Choice Scarf.
Sorry,
Audie
Choice
just misheard. Yes, Choice Scarf. Okay. I'm ready.
I got a number.
All right, you just pick somebody to start, Agati.
Maybe you, Alex.
All right, let's do it. I'll go with 95. I feel like it's probably killing, but maybe not always. All right, then pick somebody else.
Adi?
I also think it's probably killing, but maybe not always. But I'm going a little higher. I'm going 103.
All right. Yeah, somebody got.
I'm gonna say 87. I think it's not always killing, or I don't think it kills. I think it barely doesn't kill.
Okay.
All right.
Can you make an extra challenge?
What's up?
So
All right, okay.
basically, I'm telling you guys that it can KO, but not always KO. So you guys are doing pretty well. So how much of the time do you guys think it will KO?
I think it KOs 37. It's gonna be a class of 37.
Nah, I picked. You know what? I picked the opposite end. I'll pick the opposite end again and say 62.
62.
I'll stick with my original thought and go 18.8%.
All right.
18.8.
252 attack, Sword of Ruin, Brave Bird. It is a 50% chance to kill. Is what I'm
50
seeing.
50.
Oh,
Let's
it's a
go.
50-50.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Pure 50 50. It either kills or it doesn't. Oh, man.
Well-
Okay.
All right.
Who's up next?
I got one.
ESM?
I got
Audie,
one.
let's go.
We alluded to it in chat, well, not in chat, and we alluded to it in the stream earlier. So we were just saying, hey, Mold Breaker, you can never miss your Ivy Cudgels. Well, how much does the Ivy Cudgel do? We got the Articuno, which I think is just Nico's default set in the snow, taking an Ivy Cudgel from 252 attack, Jolly Ogre Pond with no multipliers.
I got
Okay,
a
so
number.
no Oracle?
What's up?
Was Veil up or no?
No Veils.
Oh,
No
okay.
Veils.
I got a number.
No Veils, but Snow is up.
I've got my number.
The Ogerpon outsped and KO'd your Ninetales, as it does.
How much bulk the Articuno have?
The Articuno is 252 HP, 44 defense. And Snow is
Yeah,
up.
just the
Okay, so
tile
that's
spread.
all.
And Snow is up. I'm ready.
I'm
ready
ready.
as well.
All right, Alex, you go first.
Okay. 44? Like, I don't know, man. I'm really believing in Articuno here.
All right, Michael, what do you think?
I actually know the number pretty sure, I feel like. I think it's 60.
60.
Mm.
And then Agati, what do you think?
I think it's 50%.
50% on
I
the
think
dot.
Yeah, I think he can to hit KO if you're lucky. I mean, it's gonna crit, right? So it's gonna to hit KO.
It's going to crit. True.
It is doing a little more than that. It's actually doing 63 to 76%.
Oh,
so
Dang.
it is always
Yeah.
two-shotting.
I think I was picking with Aurora Veil up, even though I know it wasn't up. My bad.
Yeah, if Aurora Veil is up, it is a roll to two-shot. But it's in your favor to live.
yeah.
So
My mental math is wrong. No, so the reverse calc is that +0 Terra does 90%, I think.
then you can miss. So just 0%.
Yeah,
True.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can also do
But
zero.
it's EV to live, specifically like intimidated Terra cudgel.
Gotcha.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay.
All right.
ESM, you are the last one for our count. Let's go.
Okay. This is also alluded to earlier in the stream, but let's the calc is +2 gouging fire with heat crash into Terra fairy. I don't know, Terra flying for a giraffe.
Sure.
252 Jolly. And yeah, +2 Terrifier. +2 Terrifier.
What's the
No.
photograph defense?
Ooh, +2, and we have the offensive Terra. Okay.
252 HP and let's say 108 defense, but like neutral.
And you Terra-Fire the gouging fire?
Yeah, you Terra fired
yeah.
the gouging fire, and the Frigiraffe Terra.
Neutral. Terra flying.
Terra Stellar.
Terra Stellar.
Terra Stellar Giraffe sounds good.
All right, I got a number.
I
I don't know how heavy the fire giraffe is, but
that's
I
the
think it
point. That's
does.
the point.
You weren't
You
listening.
gotta know your.
Michael said
weights.
what the base power would be like an hour ago. So you just weren't listening. That's on you.
I still don't like this. All right, I'm ready.
Let's start with Adi.
You know, I am a hater. I know you wouldn't do this calc if it didn't kill, but I'm still going to be a hater and say that it's going to do 93%.
I have no idea how much it does, just for the record.
I didn't think he knew what the result was going to be. No. Who's next here, though?
Agati.
I think he always KOs.
Okay. Always KOs. So, what percentage though? Like, give us a number. Like, is it doing 120% or is it doing 101? Like, you're saying it's always KOing.
105.
105. Okay. You're not that confident that it always KOs. My number, boy, I'm picking 75, but maybe I'm crazy.
That's crazy.
75. Wow, you are crazy.
Right.
All right, we said for Rigoraph with 252,
I don't remember if the base power
100,
is 40 or
I think you said
80.
It's 80.
Is this the calc?
It's 80 BP.
I said 252 and 108 neutral nature.
And then Terra flying.
True, Terra flying, 4 color.
I think I got it. I think I hit it.
Damn. It barely misses.
You said Jolly, right? Jolly gouging fire?
Yeah, Jolly. I did say Jolly.
No way.
Yeah.
Agati, you're not in there, bro. It's at 101 max. Holy shit.
I told you. This mod does not do enough. I've tested this Pokemon. I thought about using it at Portland. This mod does not do enough damage for Rigoraph. It's so disappointing.
Someone would be
fine,
like
bro.
120 base power.
No, the giraffe is thick. The giraffe is big.
The giraffe is one of the few mods that doesn't get 100 base or 120 base power on.
You can't say this is fine. You're at +2. You committed your Terra, and you still missed the KO, and there's a Trick Room on you. You're gonna lose the game. It's really bad.
It is pretty bad.
It's fine, bro. It's fine. It's chill.
It's so crazy that Chen Pao also just doesn't take 120. Why is the cat weigh so much, bro? Why is that such a thick little weasel thing?
The Chen Pao thing is pretty relevant because like if you're at -1, Heat Crash doesn't 2-hit KO Terra Ghost Pao, which is just funny.
Oh man.
And that's like a real situation you can get yourself into.
So that's another 80 base power, right? Against Chen
It's
Pao?
80 base power. Yeah, it's 80 for
So
Heat
Chen
Pao.
Pao and Giraffe weigh similar amounts? That doesn't seem right.
No. So the other ones that are relevant, Blood Moon and Normal Bear are 40. I think one of them might be 60, but I think they're both 40 actually. And
It makes no sense in my head.
Yeah. They're different weights, but I think they're both 40. And then Raging Bolts and Gouger themselves are also 40. And then Metagross, if you ever run into it, is also 40, but also like whatever.
Bro, I'm so bad at this game.
I think we had Paul Chua on, and he was also pretty bad at it. So don't worry. I was just like, what are you doing in your head when you're in these situations? You know, like, how are you so bad at your damage calcs? And he's all you need to know is how much Raging Bolt's Thunderclap does, whatever, man. Like, you just need to know the simple ones.
It's definitely with the Pokemon that you use a lot, you get a lot more intuition when you like start branching out to a bunch of these random Pokemon. It can be much harder.
Sure.
I forgot about that. In the episode we had Paul on, Paul claimed that he didn't know how much +6 was. Like, he didn't know that it was a 4x boost or something. Like, he's just like, yeah, it's a lot of damage. I'm like, what do you mean? You've been playing for like 10 years.
That is
Just
a lot
going
of
to
damage.
that stuff.
So insane. That's it,
Yeah.
though, I think, for us.
Yeah.
Hope you had fun. Thanks so much for being on, Agati and ESM.
Yep. If you got any shout-outs, now's a good time.
Yeah, just thanks to you guys.
Of course.
Oh yeah, we appreciate you coming on. It was fun.
It was a lot of fun, man. Yep.
We were not going to have a lot to talk about the Brazilian regional if you weren't on, so I really appreciate you coming on.
Just save us there.
And yeah, so if you missed part of this episode, you can watch it all on YouTube. It'll be up tomorrow at some point. So !YT in chat for the link. And yeah, we're gonna send you over to I think Tapo Wapo is someone who I was have you guys seen Tapo Wapo?
I've rated Topo before.
Yeah, his gimmick is that he streams Trick Room, and whenever he clicks Trick Room, he flips his camera. I think it's pretty funny. So
That is pretty sick.
Let's go.
So tell him where you came from, and yeah, thank you all for tuning in.
Yep. Thanks for joining.
Peace out, peeps.
See y'all at Vancouver.